Bryce says here, former guest of the show, as he piled up 1,218 games with 7 major league teams, including 2 laps with the Padres, Mark Sweeney grew as comfortable as possible with the uncomfortable business side of baseball. Sweeney had to be nimble on the field, shuffling from all 3 spots in the outfield to first base and pinch hitting. He also had to learn how to roll with the uncertain punches off of it. I was a utility player, Sweeney said. I was a tap on the shoulder from a new situation, scenario, or being released that kinds of sets you up in that aspect. When the Padres report to spring training next month, Sweeney will not be a part of their broadcasting plans for the first time in 13 years. A couple weeks after the season, Sweeney was told he would not be asked to return. Interesting. So he was not asked to return by the Padres or Major League Baseball. It says baseball broadcasting finds itself in choppy waters. For those not named the Dodgers and Yankees, the regional sports network model has shown serious cracks, highlighted by the collapse of the Padres deal with Bally Sports. MLB stepped in to broadcast Padres games, but belt tightening led to reduced resources and diminished polish. Pre and post game shows practically vanished. Sweeney found himself caught in the financial rip current. They said they're set with the people they had, Sweeney says here. It was a changing climate, is what they said. We all understand what the pandemic has done and MLB taking over. I didn't think it was going to be that abrupt. I thought it would be reduced for sure. It's time to look into other things. Other things include a gig with another big league club that Sweeney said is close to the finish line. Interesting. He wants to wait to talk about it because it's not fully finalized. On to the next. He says, I'm going to be doing some pre and post and possibly some games, so I'll probably be traveling a little more than I normally do. They've offered it to me. It's something I'm very excited about. I've also done the national stuff with Fox, and I'll continue to do that. Interesting. So, a long relationship that he had with Mike Pomerantz. I'm not super surprised that Sweeney is not going to be a part of the Padres broadcast team because if you watched the pre and post, you watched the broadcast, Major League Baseball, that produced broadcast when Bally Sports went away, I think we envisioned like, ooh, maybe there's not that much of a need for Sweeney. They could just have Bob Scanlon and Mike Pomerantz do the post game show. Like is in game, right? If you're trying to reduce costs and you're seeing Bob Scanlon be able to do the post game show on the road and throw it up to Don and Mud in the booth. I remember the Miami series where it was the first series and Scan was doing some of the post game and he'd come up to the booth a little bit. You could have Mike Pomerantz go on the road with the Padres if you need him to, and he does pre and post at Petco Park as well. You can have him sideline report if Scan can't work or if Scan has to go do the radio, if Jesse's gone or if Tony Gwynn Jr. is doing TV as the analyst, or if Jesse's doing TV because Don's gone doing national stuff. Like, people can go to a different role for a series, for a weekend, a week, a road trip if you need them to. You're trying to reduce costs, then Sweeney, does he need to be doing the broadcast? Unfortunately, that's just how it goes. But it seems like he has another role set up, so I wish him the best there. And I thought some of the stuff that he said, like, I thought in 2023, I mean, he did get critical of the Padres. I do see on social media sometimes that fans were not a big fan of Mark Sweeney. I I didn't, to be honest, I didn't watch the post game show that much. I tune in for like the manager press conference, but I was doing like my own post game reaction, or I would do my own live show after series were over, or I was at the game, so I didn't catch the post game. So I don't have the best feel on if, Mark Sweeney's great or not. But clearly, the Padres or whoever made this decision feels like we can have other guys fill that role. So we'll see what the future holds for Mark Sweeney. But yeah, he was with the Padres. Obviously, he played for the Padres. He was on that 98 team. And he has been with the Padres for a long time. And obviously, he'd been through all the rebuilds and the excitement with the Padres. So I'm interested in seeing where he goes from here. I'm sure he'll be doing a lot more of the, or maybe not, because he'll be on the road with whoever he's broadcasting with, but he'll be doing more of the national studio stuff with FS1 and Fox, because there were some times where you'd see Padres were on a national broadcast and Sweeney was with Eric Karros on the Fox national pre-post show. So we'll see. But yeah, so it seems like the Padres broadcasting team for 2024, it's going to be Don, Mudd, Scan, Pomerantz, at least as of now, Agler, Tony Gwynn Jr., right? Annie Halbrun, she's on 97.3, the fan with Craig Elston. So she has her own gig, which is great. Good for her. And it's been an entertaining listening to those two. But yeah, Mark Sweeney, no longer going to be on the Padres broadcasts.